What if the future didn't just arrive? What if it collided with the present? Not as one single big event, but as this crazy mix of breathtaking progress and, well, terrifying new threats, all happening in just 24 hours. Well, on one particular day in the near future, it did.
The date was April 8th, 2026. Just another day on the calendar, right? Except this day was a perfect snapshot of the wild, high-stakes world we're all living in now.
Because on this single day, two totally different futures were being built, side by side. One was a future of just incredible innovation, of amazing new possibilities. And the other was a future of escalating conflict and, frankly, a lot of new vulnerabilities.
So let's start on the darker side of that day, on what you could call the digital battlefield. We're talking about a series of coordinated, really sophisticated cyber attacks that kind of peeled back the curtain and showed us just how fragile our modern world has become.
So get this. On this one day, a global shadow war was playing out on three different fronts. You had Iran trying to cause real-world physical disruption. Then you had North Korea focused on pulling off a massive financial heist. And at the same time, China was in the middle of a strategic espionage mission against the US government. These were not random. No way. They were calculated moves, each with its own dangerous endgame.
The Iranian attack targeted something most of us have never, ever heard of, but it basically runs our entire world, the Programmable Logic Controller, or PLC. The thing to get here is that these aren't just computers in an office somewhere. PLCs are the digital brains that control physical stuff, the pumps in our water treatment plants, the switches on our power grid, the robots on our factory floors.
And listen, this wasn't some theoretical what-if scenario. The FBI confirmed it. Hackers tied to Iran actually breached PLCs across the United States. They caused real shutdowns, real financial damage to our water, energy, and manufacturing systems. The message was loud and clear. The digital war now has very, very physical consequences.
Okay, so at the same time, North Korea's attack was unfolding, and it was a masterpiece of patience and psychology. I mean, this was not a quick smash and grab. This was a long con, a social engineering heist that took months. Just look at this timeline. They spent months building fake professional profiles, building trust with real employees at a crypto firm, all leading up to one trusted employee clicking one bad link. And the payoff? $285 million gone in just a few hours. And then there was the third front. Hackers linked to China breached the FBI's own system for tracking suspects. The US government called it a major security incident. I mean, just think about that for a second. The attackers didn't just steal some files. They potentially got a look inside active FBI investigations. They could see who was being watched. And in doing so, they could shatter the trust the FBI needs to work with its partners around the world. This was high-level, strategic stuff. But that was only half the story of April 8th. Because while this digital shadow war was raging, a completely different story was unfolding. It was one of explosive creativity and ambition. You could call it the innovation gold rush. And it started with something you can actually hold in your hand. OnePlus unveiled a new phone, the Nord 6, and it promised to solve one of our biggest modern headaches, battery life. We're talking a 9,000 milliamp-hour battery. That's not just a little better, it's a giant leap. It's almost double what the top-tier iPhones and Samsungs had, promising 3, maybe even 4 days of use on a single charge. A total game changer.
So while our phones were getting a huge boost, the engines that power our future were about to get an even bigger one. In fact, the biggest tech news of the day could be boiled down to just one number: 50 times.
50 times was the goal of a new project called Terafab, an absolutely stunning $50 billion joint venture between Elon Musk and Intel. Their plan? Build the world's biggest AI chip factory. The idea was to increase global production by 50-fold. But more than that, it was a direct answer to the kind of global instability we were just talking about, an attempt to secure the most critical piece of our tech future by bringing it back home.
But you know, if Terafab was about the future of hardware, the final big news of the day was all about the software. OpenAI announced that it had closed a new round of funding, and the number was just jaw-dropping. $122 billion.
And with that one investment, OpenAI's valuation shot up to $852 billion. In a single day, it became more valuable than giants like Tesla and Meta. This wasn't just money changing hands. This was a massive global bet on the future of intelligence itself.
So where does all that cash even go?
Well, this breakdown really shows you the scale of this new AI arms race. Look at this. Nearly half of it, about $60 billion, is for just one thing: raw compute power. That's the price you have to pay to create the next generation of AI. It's an investment that could unlock solutions to our biggest problems, or, in the wrong hands, it could be used to design the next generation of those cyber attacks we saw earlier.
So you have these two things happening at once. You've got these incredible attacks on our most critical infrastructure. And at the exact same time, you've got these history-making investments to build an entirely new kind of infrastructure. And that brings us to our high-stakes reality.
So what do we do with this? How are we supposed to understand a single 24-hour period that holds so much promise and so much peril? I think the big takeaway from this one day is that progress and peril are basically two sides of the same coin now. They are completely inseparable. The same digital world that makes an AI revolution possible is the same battleground where nations are fighting a shadow war. While one side is all about innovation, the other is driven by disruption. And what you get is this paradox. At the very moment we unlock these amazing new capabilities, we also expose our most critical vulnerabilities.
And really, this all leaves us with what might be the defining question of our time. We're getting unimaginably good at building things that are faster, smarter, and more powerful than ever. But as the pace of our technology just accelerates to this breakneck speed, the real question is, can our security, our ethics, and our collective wisdom possibly keep up?